He's also the Asia Lead Technology and Innovation at Blockspace Technology Limited, an advisor of Tech Build Innovation Partners. He has helped organize Africa's biggest blockchain and cryptocurrency event across major cities in Nigeria, now replicating the same in India. He organized Drupal global training day events, Drupal camps, and meetups, and have spoken at DrupalCon Amsterdam 2014, Los Angeles 2015, and Johannesburg, South Africa 2016. And he has also arranged blockchain camps in Nigeria from 2017 to 2019. He regularly speaks at tech events in India, Nigeria, and across Africa. Besides blockchain, he's also skilled in robotics, drone technology, and Raspberry Pi and 3D printing. He's also the advisor of a couple of global blockchain companies like Blockseer, Blockchain Labs, and Pacific Networks. So, without much delay, I'd like to invite Raj Kapoor to take over and enlighten us with the wonderful subject today, blockchain. And Raj, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Raj. I think let the college introduce themselves and then we take it over.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mandar, Mandar sir, you can take it over. Yeah, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, Sana ma'am, you can start.
Good morning, everyone present here. On behalf of Excelsior Education Society, KC College of Engineering and Management Studies and Research, I would like to welcome our guests, Mr. Raj Kapoor, Mr. Dipesh Divakaran, and Mr. Rajiv Bardula. I also welcome our Principal of KC College of Engineering and Management Studies and Research, Mr. Vilas Neet Naware, our COO, Mrs. Pooja Rai Pradhan, all HODs, our Managing Director, Mr. Sai Kiran Khanna, the faculties, and all participants across India. For this session on Know How Blockchain is Changing Your World. Blockchain is a game changer in the field of technology. This session is organized to get better insights on the topic of blockchain. With that said, I would like to introduce our first speaker of the morning, Mr. Dipesh Divakaran. Mr. Dipesh Divakaran, he has master's degrees from Mumbai University. He has been a teacher, industry professional, and a quality expert. He is currently working with 125 universities and institutions in India in terms of quality implementation, accreditation technology adoption, process management, academia enhancements, staff trainings, and revolutionizing the curricula for the 21st century. He has more than 10 years of experience in academic excellence, education technology, quality management, accreditation with proficiency in delivery management, solution definition, business analysis, product management, idea creation, and product implementation. He is currently associated with the QPIC Solutions Private Limited, which focuses on education, consultancy, and technology. With that said, I would like to hand over to Mr. Dipesh Divakaran.
Thank you, Professor Sanana, for that kind introduction. I would like to introduce Mentor Trust here, which is basically the co-organizer of this particular event. So I know all people are eagerly waiting for the main session, but just to introduce you about the Mentor Trust, I'll not take much time, just 5 minutes. I'm just presenting. So before I get into Mentor Trust and what exactly and how we can help you out in this particular in your graduate journey, I just want to introduce you what exactly the Mentor Trust is all about. So we all know that our national ambition is to become a $10.4 trillion nation, okay, by 2034. So in 2014 we were $1.9 trillion nation. So now we have a huge ambition in front of us. So this can only be achieved when we can solve sectorial problem. Okay. So why I am highlighting this to you, because the future graduates or the future workforce, are going to be part of this, and they're going to be um, contributing towards the nation building, right? So there are many challenges that India is facing today in terms of healthcare, manufacturing, education, so retail. So if I talk about healthcare, today our life expectancy is 66 years. Okay, so we want to make it 80 years by 2034. Today we only contribute 12% of GDP to manufacturing. We want to make it 25% of GDP, probably next 15, 20 years time. So similarly, there are a lot of challenges in every area like agriculture, power, financial services, urbanization, or digital connectivity or physical connectivity. So if you look at, there's a massive opportunity that India is having today for the future graduates. Okay, so the students who are studying now in various campuses. Okay, and the people who are going to be joining the campuses, they have a fantastic opportunity in front of them. But also, when we have huge opportunity, it also comes with huge challenges, right? So we know that the market will be requiring 70% more labor force or professionals by 2025. But the challenge is that you just passing out as a degree holder, okay, because we are addressing students today mainly. So you as passing out just a degree holder will not fetch you a job. So things have changed drastically from last 10, 15 years. The current skills of graduates are a big gap, okay, and it demands some different things. Okay, I'll show you in some time what the skills are. Okay, and today's session is also focusing on that area only. So if you look at the companies and industries are looking for skilled graduates rather than a graduate with degree. So in the past 10 years before, you pass out as a fresher and you gain the experience in the industry for 10 years and you become a professional, right? So you have a on-job training going on. But today the things have changed drastically. So industry wants skilled graduates to come and join them. Okay, so that means what you just cannot pass out with a single degree from the university. So to look at the data, okay, I just want to show you the data. If you look at what industry experts, so if you map it from 1990 to 2030 in the future, you will find that the value of university degree is coming down drastically, and value of skills are going up. Even few months before, Google have announced that they're going to take people even without a college degree if they just pass out if they just go through a course offered by Google. So that's where industry is going. It doesn't mean that you don't need a university degree. The combination of both is a very powerful tool. Okay, so that's where the workforce skills that you may require. Okay, I'll just highlight some skills. We will not go deeper into it because it's not today's topic. Some of the skills a graduate will be expected to pass out with are creativity, emotional intelligence, complex problem solving, judgment, decision making, cognitive flexibility, people management, negotiation, and critical thinking. Unfortunately, our university syllabus are not able to give you all these skills. That means what, the graduate has to be multifaceted in terms of exposure to knowledge, and you should also look into various types of courses and various types of certification courses that can come your way during the graduation process only, so that you can get these skills, and when you pass out with immense skilled graduate. Okay, so that's what the whole idea is all about. So the Mentor Trust was formed as a non-profit organization with this particular point of view, where we can contribute towards the nation. And we today have more than 500 mentors from various areas. So whatever areas I've shown you, like healthcare, agriculture, technology. So we have 500 mentors to assist teachers and students to bridge this gap and enhance this skill. So whatever university is not able to provide you, uh, as a Mentor Trust, as a non-profit organization, we'll be helping you. Mentor Trust is going to tie up with or partner with many other organizations, many other prime organizations of the world to 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 bridge your skills, okay, to bridge your skill gaps. And in terms of to identify what skill gaps you have, we're going to use some scientific methods, okay, and we'll come out with what exact career will be suitable for you. And we are currently working with a lot of placement departments of many institutions to bridge the gap of their students and ensure that they get placed. So we have two different focus in schools and colleges. So we have till K-12, and in graduate area also we have very massive focus. So this is what massively we are doing, and on daily basis our mentors list are keeping on increasing. So this is what Mentor Trust in short I want to highlight to you. Just want to give a who are our guiding light, the advisory panel that we have. So Mr. T.P. Srinivasan, he is former diplomat and Higher Education Council chairman. Dr. Dilip Kumar, he is former vice chancellor of Shankara University, Kaladi. It's in Kerala. And Mr. Shine Bhaskaran, he is world president of JCI and very highly connected individuals. And they bring in a lot of immense knowledge and experience, and they became our guiding light. So these are the advisory panel of Mentor Trust. And people behind who are executing this on daily basis and ensuring that our students uh, are best in the world. So the people behind Mr. Devi Dayal, he is vice principal. He was former vice principal, Refinery School, Kochi. He was also a president, and he has a huge exposure in CBSE and other educational um, governmental level of exposures. Mr. Thomas John, he's a former finance and admin manager from Saudi Arabia. Currently, he's associated with educational institutions, immense experience in education. Mr. Shaji Varghese, he's been a social entrepreneur for life, and he has started a series of companies, and he has been a ex-zone president of JCI also, and myself. Okay, so I'm not going much into that part. So there's a team behind Mentor Trust, and we will speak about this a lot in future sessions. So this is what I want to share with you. You can go to our website for more information, and you can contact the college if you want to get in touch with us in terms of career guidance or any other things. Okay, thank you so much for the time. Over to you, Sanama.
Thank you, Mr. Dipesh Divakaran. Now I would like to introduce our next speaker for the day, Mr. Rajiv Bardoloi. Mr. Rajiv Bardoloi is the Director General of Trade Promotion Council of Robotics and Automation (TPCRA). He is a BTech Mechanical and Product Management from IIT Delhi with 2 decades of industry and corporate exposure with global organization and Indian MNC like Texas Instruments, Standard PLC, American International Group, etc. A member of the New Energy and Industrial Technology Development Organization, Tokyo since 2006. He is also an independent consultant of TI USA since 2009, a council member of the CIO Executive Council ANZ Austria and New Zealand since last year. Emergent technology and social initiatives are his two big weaknesses. He is an active volunteer of CRY International, that is the charity organization since last 10 years. Also nominate for Indian Achievers Awards 2020 for Shiksha Bharati Award in the field of innovation, consultancy and CSR for his outstanding work at Trade Promotional Council of Robotics and Automation, that is TPCRA, is not a for-profit apex body representing robotics and automation and information technology sector. He is an active involved he is actively involved globally and in Indian market for bringing all emerging technologies like blockchain, AI, IoT, cybersecurity, robotics, biometrics for academics and industry collaboration in the era of the fourth industrial revolution. With that said, I would like to hand over to Mr. Rajiv Bardoloi.
Thank you, Professor Sana, so much for the introduction. And today, and also Mr. Dipesh, it was really wonderful insight on what Mentor Trust is really doing. So I think, most of the part as a trade promotion council of robotics and automation. So we are not confined only to robotics and automation. Rather, I would like to share that we are a not-for-profit body, again, an apex body, which represents primarily all the emerging technologies. Okay, so when we say emerging technologies, so it would encompass couple of technologies like AI, IoT, AR and VR, cybersecurity, geospatial technology, 5G, serverless computing, robotics, biometrics, 3D printing, LiDAR. Okay, just to name a few, and even blockchain, the main part which we are discussing today, the blockchain. So, among all the emerging technologies, blockchain has taken a primary lead as a frontier, one of the frontier technology among all the technologies. The primary reason which today Mr. Raj Kapoor would also be sharing in his presentation. So the main another highlight as a technology council I would like to present here is that we have stepped into the fourth industrial revolution. rather to say, even though we did it around 2 years back. But it became all the more prominent during this global crisis, pandemic period, all the more. And now we can see the impact of all these technologies even more than what we have seen 6 7 months earlier, prior to the pandemic period. So, with this in mind, when it comes to the fourth industrial revolution, there are certain things which the students community will have to upgrade themselves into, in terms of learning and making themselves aware about this new age skills in all these technologies. Because as everybody say that job or crisis, there's a slowdown in economy, but the fact remains fact that there are ample jobs, but the right set of candidates are not available for this set of jobs. Okay, and the package, the jobs, everything is available, but there is a gradual shift in the entire economy. It's a techno economy, it's a collaborative economy and a techno driven economy. So we as a organization also collaborate with couple of very deep level organization like Mentored Trust, who has been working for decades in this area of empowering students. So we collaborate by working with organizations like them, where we can take these technologies to the students through various channels like universities, colleges at a very fast pace. Okay. For this, we have also various advisors to our technology council, like Mr. Raj Kapoor himself and his organization, India Blockchain Alliance, who is a global think tank in the technology itself. So, without taking much of a time, I think I will hand over to Raj, because I am sure it's going to be a very interesting session from students' point of view, even from other stakeholders who are present here today. And as for the technology, we know this is a very interesting technology, and its impact is not only in one or two sector. It is coming up in banking, cybersecurity, supply chain management, networking, insurance, private transport, charity, government, voting, and so many other things. Okay, so which Raj will today highlight. And I would like to thank once again everyone for having organized such a wonderful session, and would like to present hand over to Raj, so that we can continue the session with the main topic today, an introduction to blockchain and how blockchain is changing our world. So thank you, Sana ma'am, for this wonderful opportunity, and thank you. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Mr. Rajiv Bardoloi. Now, I would like to introduce the speaker for the day, Mr. Raj Kapoor. He is an advisory board member at several blockchain companies, formerly regional director at Paxful INC,
Na
tech
foreplay.
innovation professional, certified Bitcoin professional, and blockchain solution architect. Mr. Raj Kapoor has helped organize Africa's biggest blockchain cryptocurrency events and is trying to replicate the model in India. I would like to hand it over to Mr. Raj Kapoor now.
Thank you so much, Sana. Thank you, and thank you, Divakaran. Thank you, everybody from KC
Welcome,
and
sir.
Mentor Trust. Thank you. All right. With your permission, may I start then?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you. Right. Okay. Wonderful to be here with all you guys. I heard some wonderful stuff from Divakaran, some nice facts and figures, and I heard some very nice things said about me from Rajiv. So thank you guys. I really appreciate that. And more important, thank you for having me here. Thank you for having me on a Saturday morning. And let's do one thing. Let's dive right into the presentation. My presentation is going to be a little different from others. I'm going to make it a little real based and then presentation based. I'll first show you the reality of blockchain, what's happening around the world in the last 12 months by showing you some fantastic headlines. And thereafter, I'm going to show you the little presentation which I made for you guys so you know where you're going and how blockchain really is actually going to impact your lives right from the good morning time to right to good night. So are we ready for the ride? Cheers. We'll take off now. Here we go. And here comes our first headline. Okay, guys, my screen is visible. Gentlemen?
Yeah, Raj, it is visible.
Perfect. Okay, so we can start our journey now. I show you the first headline. I'll rely more on this first, and then I'm going to take you right into my presentation. Before I start, and while you enjoy this first headline, I'm going to say two things. First, today's session is going to be just an introductory session. Blockchain is a very vast space. My idea is to get you acquainted with it, aware about it, and then take it further. It's just like a date. It's your first date with blockchain, so enjoy the date. Second, a lot of people ask me this question. So right up front, I'm telling you one thing. Everybody asks me, a lot of people ask me, not everybody, sir, this is Bitcoin? Right. Bitcoin is not blockchain. Blockchain is not Bitcoin. But yet there's a convergence. Blockchain is the platform, and Bitcoin was built on the blockchain. So that's Bitcoin is different. Let's not confuse Bitcoin with blockchain only. Okay. Third, this is one technology which really impacts all aspects, whether you're a tech student or you're an MBA or a BBA or in any other space. This is one technology which is now traversed right through different domains and sectors. So you do not always have to be a techie or a nerd, as your website says, to always enjoy blockchain. You can enjoy it even without that. Right. I've said what I said. Now I'm going to show you some stuff. I'm going to show you some headlines in the last 6 to 8 months. Why are blockchain salaries so high? I don't think any student listening in will complain. They are high. They are high because there is a huge demand. And we'll come to that going through the little slides and going through the little presentation. The next headline which we see is from Computer World India, and it says blockchain has moved into the top spot for the hottest job skills. In the last 1 year, approximately 6,000%, it has grown in the spot for the hottest job skills. So it's become the number one hotspot. It is the technology for the moment right now, and it's going to be remaining there for the next 2 years. You'll see why. Third one we have here, it's moved up because the demand now, because of that, what's happened? The demand for blockchain engineers is right through the roof, exploding. 517% increase in demand for engineers and skills in the last year. That's massive. That is more than almost all the other technologies which are there right now. Every technology is useful. Everyone is creating an impact. But blockchain has taken the lead out here, and that's why we're talking about that today right now. I love technology. I'm equally. I love AI. I myself, I work a lot in AI. I work in multiple other technologies. Blockchain is something of a passion now over the last few years because there is so much growth and so much it can do for you. Let's come to the next one. Economic Times said, another beautiful headline for all of the students watching here, sky high salaries for blockchain growth. So the demand has gone through the roof, and so have the salaries. Sky high salaries, we all like this, don't we? Why is the salary so high? What's happening? Okay, these are great headlines. What's happening? Because blockchain, the market is growing at 80.2%. 80.2% by 2023. That means it's got to become 24, almost a 24 billion by 2023 at a CAGR. That is the 80.2% growth forecast. So what does that result in? Let's see. I want you to just read this headline. 7 Indian banks are joining the JP Morgan's blockchain platform. Now, all of a sudden, from salaries that come to a bank, yes, I have. That's because when banking is one of the major sectors in our growth, and it's a growth trigger in our economy. And when banking starts moving towards the technology, a lot of jobs are created. There's a lot of movement. And this is just the first 7. There are many more. This is led by the ICICI Bank, Axis Bank. These are the 2 first banks which have now come in. There are more coming in. But they are moving to the blockchain platform. And when I'm showing you my presentation, you will be able to understand why banks are moving towards this platform. So stay tuned in there. And remember this particular headline, especially the jobs, everything is going to come back here. So the next headline is, the Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, has backed blockchain as a frontier technology. Frontier technology, a little different from emerging technologies. A frontier technology actually addresses real world problems and solves problems, not just processes and systems. Therefore, blockchain is really touted as the next frontier technology. We'll come to that a little later again. We also have a very interesting article in which the Election Commission now is exploring the potential of using blockchain technology for remote voting. Are they doing anything in AI? No. Biometrics? No. Cybersecurity? No. Nothing in those lines. Not for this particular work, at least. But they are exploring blockchain. When we entrust a technology, one of the largest democracies actually is thinking of entrusting technology to carry out one of the biggest mandates, a voting mandate. It's going to be awesome. It's actually, if you read between the lines, that's the potential. A couple of very other quick things which have come up recently. The blockchain in Kerala government is putting all the financials, all the finances, everything on the blockchain. The entire financial system is going to be there. The market is going to reach 829 million by 2023. In the healthcare space, some quick headlines are here. Kerala government is running blockchain projects in land records, managing workforce and others, and lots of other things happening. And for that, what they're doing? Kerala aims to produce 20,000 blockchain experts in the next 2 years. Wow. Is Maharashtra going to do it? Is Thane going to do it? We'll find out. So right from here, very quickly, I am now going to, I'll stop sharing the headline and take you straight into my presentation. So give me a moment while I do that, all right? I believe you can see the screen as well now. Yes?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. I require support now and then for letting me know if you can see this. I can see it, yeah. So let's start with an introduction to this world of blockchain. What is this blockchain? What is the mystery around it? Is it easy? What are the challenges? And so on and so forth. So let me first introduce you to my friend and a colleague, George. George and me are, as we say, blockchain buddies. We do a lot of work together. We brainstorm. We work on blockchain solutions. We work on blockchain training and learning modules. We train colleges. We train universities, corporates, governments, right across the globe. We are doing work in Canada. We're doing work in the United States. We've done work in Singapore. Right closer home, we are doing with the government of Haryana. We are doing a project there. And we are also doing some work in Thane, by the way, with your property tax assessments in Thane, which is all going to be in the blockchain anyways. I think today or yesterday or today it's come in the newspaper as well. So we can have a look at that. And there are many, many projects we're doing. More important, both of us love to speak, and we both of us speak at various events. We speak in the Africas, we speak in Europe, we speak in Canada. Between the two of us, I think we've covered about 140 countries. We've spoken at length, we've spoken briefly, we've spoken, and it's 140 countries at last count. A lot of countries. More important, we love creating solutions in the blockchain. And we've done a lot. I'll share some of my experiences, both our experiences. So let me take you right into the world of blockchain now. Here we go. Here's a very, very important slide for anybody who's interested in the blockchain, in this technology, on these platforms. Now, the Niti Aayog, which is the government of India think tank, says it took out. What did it take out? It took out a strategy document, blockchain strategy. Plan for adopting blockchain in India, not in a corporate, but in India as a nation. It's a beautiful document. It's a beautiful blueprint of what's going to happen over the next 10 years, 15 years in India, which are the sectors which are going to be more impacted with blockchain and how they are going to adopt it. It's important. You've got to know which sectors. A lot of people think blockchain would be maybe to do with bitcoins in the financial sector or something, but that's not true. Yes, it's true that the financial sector is the first to adopt and move towards the blockchain. But today, almost all sectors, and as Rajiv very clearly mentioned, you call it healthcare, manufacturing, utilities, media, everybody is moving towards the blockchain. So there are some examples, some case studies we'll share with you later. But this document, for those interested, you should download this document. It's available on the site of Niti Aayog. Download it. You will know exactly whether you take up blockchain as a subject or not. You will know how it's going to impact every part of your life, right from the time you wake up and when you use your toothbrush, toothpaste, which will be on a blockchain supply chain, right from the time you take a ride, whether it's a bus or a sharing ride, that's going to be in the blockchain. Uber is moving towards blockchain. Even your browsing, all your data servers, etc., slowly moving onto the blockchain. And from the time you say good night and brush your teeth again, you're going to be always there, including your studies, for example. A lot of colleges and universities now are adopting blockchain for actually credentialing and sharing mark sheets and degrees and certificates. We are working with 4 of them in India now, and abroad we are working in many. The biggest one being the MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which is our largest client, for actually adopting blockchain to issue credentials. Yes, that's where I said everything you touch will be directly or indirectly on the blockchain. Let's see what Forbes said. I'm sure most of you have heard of what Forbes is as a Forbes magazine. I'm sure most of you have heard it. And what does it say? It says, very soon we won't trust anything unless it's backed by blockchain. Why? Because blockchain today has emerged as the technology which has got 3 basic facets. It's time-stamped. It's immutable. That makes it really absolutely sacrosanct, have it as a technology. Time-stamped, immutable, and trustworthy. These are the 3 things which make blockchain absolutely. It's called programmable trust. You can program blockchain, create that trust. That's why all processes, all systems, all supply chains, all SOPs in the near future over the next 5 years, and they've already started all over the world. We hope India catches on very fast. But that's what's going to happen. Very soon, we won't trust anything unless it's backed by blockchain. Share an insight with you. We have a lot of these international monetary funds and the World Banks, etc., and they do lots of money, and they give money to different countries for infrastructure, healthcare, education, etc., etc. They are now contemplating that when they give out the monies, they want the entire process to be on the blockchain. What does that mean? It means they say, right, guys, we give you the money, not a problem. What happens after that? We need to have traceability. We need to know where that money is. Now, that can happen even without blockchain, yes. But blockchain ensures that it becomes trustworthy, because now you cannot change any records, you cannot add any records, you cannot do, you can delete any records. It becomes immutable. No one can start tampering with these records, or no one can make mistakes also. It reduces mistakes. Mistakes are human, but it reduces mistakes, increases transparency, and thereby trust. This is one of the most important statements come in the last year. We won't trust anything unless it's backed by blockchain. So any process which you believe needs to be transparent needs to be on the blockchain. Several more examples will come ahead. Let's go further. So here we have Blight Masters. She's the CEO of Digital Asset Holdings and also a wonderful TEDx speaker, as well as a cryptocurrency guru. She talks a lot about blockchain, and she says blockchain is as significant now as the internet was 25 years ago. I'm sure you believe that. 25 years ago, and a lot of you students probably were not even there came a revolutionary technology, internet. All of us are very fascinated, didn't know how it worked first, and then as we got to know it better and we became friendly with it, it became our best friend. Today, we cannot do without the internet for a day. Just imagine. Today we are talking because of the internet. Yes, you can listen to me, I can listen to you, you can probably see me, whatever. But bottom line, it's a revolutionary, disruptive technology that came 25 years ago. And today you can stay without maybe food and water for a day, but you can't live without the internet. That's how important it's become. Fast forward now to 2020. The same scenario, which was 25 years back, we have it again. Blockchain has now become as significant. Why is that? because we live in a digital economy which produces tons and tons and terabytes of data. And how does that data get saved or distributed or protected? That's what blockchain addresses. The common factor in both, none of them are owned by a single entity, therefore making it a very, very secure. That's or based on that, I'm taking the next step forward and introducing now to this. Before that, we have Mr. Prime Minister Modi speaking very nicely at the US-India Business Council, clearly stressing on the technology importance of 5G, quantum computing, and blockchain, which also, incidentally, my friends, is quite interrelated. So, blockchain, there to stay. This statement was made in July 2020, just a few months back. Big statement from one of the largest democracies. So our agenda today, let's see, what is blockchain? Where did it start? More important, why did it start? Why did this come up? It's a very young technology, just 12 years old. 12 years young, I'll say. Okay, where are the jobs? This is great for students. They should understand. And as Divakaran very clearly said, that you need to have skills to get jobs today, not just a degree. You really and clearly need skills to go forward. This is one of them. Let me introduce you to them. First, let me define blockchain technically, and then I'll take it simplified. What's a blockchain? It's in simple word, a timestamp series of immutable records. What is the key word here? Timestamped, and more important, immutable records of data that is managed by a cluster of computers, not owned by any single entity. Your data is a block, and it's managed by a cluster of computers. So there is no single block which manages the data. It's a cluster of them. And each of these blocks, that is the data, is secured and bound to each other using crypto principles, that is lines of code to make it very simple. That's called a chain. So these blocks are linked by a chain, which is a code, and they are spread right across the globe, everywhere. It's everywhere, and it's not owned by anybody, therefore making it extremely secure, difficult or almost impossible to hack, and absolutely impossible to alter. That's why it has become so important. Going further, let's have a look at some facts and figures here. By the end of 2024, it's expected that corporates will spend $20 billion per year for blockchain technical services. Wow, that's a big number. $1 billion is a big number, 20 billion even bigger. Now, who's going to be managing these technical services? Who's going to be giving these services? That's going to be you, students of today. That's the youth. That's where you got to be sometimes. You got to see the opportunity and the size of the market and say, well, if there's such a big size, I'm sure I'm going to get a good job or make a career for myself in this space, if you like. Projections, $61 billion. Projects, $360 billion by 2026. All big numbers. More important than the big numbers is actually the opportunity presented because of this unprecedented rise of a growing disruptive technology. It's an evolving technology, so there's going to be a lot of scope going forward as well. Come to the last line now. Some of the world's largest banks are investing $50 billion to build a blockchain-based digital cash settlement system. They're doing this because they know and they are threatened by this technology, because this is one technology that can actually replace bank transactions. It actually can. Bitcoin is doing exactly that. Now, that's why they're investing and said, well, if we can't beat them, let's join them. That's the right approach. We work in a collaborative manner. The financial institutions have to work collaboratively, so they don't have to say, oh, blockchain is useless, and blockchain doesn't say banks are useless. No, we work together. And that's why that headline which I showed you, 7 Indian banks have moved on to the JP Morgan blockchain. JP Morgan has made a blockchain, especially for the banking industry, and they are moving now. Soon, a lot of other banks are going to be on the blockchain, and before you know it, the data will become much more secure than it is right now. It's also projected that by 2025, 55% of healthcare applications will adopt blockchain for commercial use. That's big. And one of the clear examples came recently on August 15th, when it was declared we have a health card, national health card, and where we'll have all our health data, our reports, our prescriptions, everything which you have would be on a single card. Now, that's not a very strange thing. You can have a lot of information on a card. You can get a lot of information. You can store on a microchip, a lot of information. But what's really significant is the safety of this data, because it's going to be on the blockchain. If it's on the blockchain, it's going to be only safer, trustworthy, and nobody else will be able to view it unless you allow them to. Unlike other traditional databases, where access to data is not as difficult as we all think it is. So, a bank, for example, for example, you give all your information to a bank when you open a bank account. They have access to all your data. They can choose to use or misuse it depending on the person. But with blockchain, that choice goes away. That choice is yours. Now, blockchain also reduces investment bank infra costs by 30%. Imagine that. If the costs are reduced 30%, it's a whopper saving. It adds to the top line. It adds to the bottom line. Now, if you can't increase business, you've got to decrease costs, especially in today's tough times. That's exactly what blockchain is doing for investment banking. And look at the last line. The cost of transactions using blockchain are millions of times cheaper than transaction costs in a traditional economy. I'll give you an example. For example, I am sitting in America. I want to send $1,000 to my daughter. She's in the United States. Now, when I send that money, the bank charges me a certain fee for doing that. Let us assume that my fee is 100 rupee, 1 rupee, okay, for that fees. If slowly and steadily we move all our transactions onto the blockchain, what's going to happen? My cost from 1 rupee is going to come down to 0.000001 paise, approximately. That's the saving. That's virtually giveaway. It's free. That's the cost difference. So imagine hundreds and hundreds of transactions happening every second, every moment across the world. Visa cards, MasterCards, interbank transfers. Imagine if the cost was reduced. And what technology can reduce that cost? That's blockchain. In a very layman's language, this is how it's done. As I said, I want to transfer $1,000 to my relative, but I'm sitting in the USA. My parents are in India. I want to send some money. Great stuff. All right, I open my bank account. I go to web login, or I open a bank application on my mobile phone. Do a few clicks, put in my password, my OTPs, and I have a Chase Manhattan Bank, no problem. You have an ICICI Bank, no problem. Within a few minutes or hours, it reaches. If it's an international one, it takes some time. Domestic ones are instantaneous, almost very fast and rapid. And all your data is stored in the bank centralized server. That's the traditional way it's being done. That's how we're doing it now. So whenever you swipe your card, either you use a third party, you use Paytms, you use Western Union, you use Google Pay, Phone Pay, whatever, Beam Pay, whatever, everything. You're using a third party because all of it is linked to a bank. Now, what happens in the Bitcoin network blockchain? What happens? You can just transfer the same amount of money, and here the bank, which is a little bank here, has just disappeared. It's between, there's nothing in between. And your data, which was secured in the centralized server here, now become distributed all across the globe. Now it has become disintermediated. There is no intermediary. Imagine no bank. It's distributed. So your data is safe because it's all over the place. It's not just one place which can be accessed or hacked or deleted. So all over. It's decentralized. It's no longer in a centralized server. It is gone right across. Therefore, it becomes trustful. Because now you know it's very difficult for one single human being to get into this data of yours, because everything has to be linked. He has to really, if he has to get into it, he has to get into every block to get in. That's impossible. And this combined is programmable trust. Technology which you can program trust. This is a term which you will come across over the next 3 to 5 years continually. That's the idea. That is one of the great achievements of blockchain. Removed middlemen and secured data. Two things. So now you're centralized. This is the bank centralized book. This is your book. This is her book, my parents' book, bank book. In a single, just imagine putting all your eggs in one basket. Everything in one single diary or a single ledger. Now, this can be prone to errors. The ledger can be tampered. Entries can be deleted. Some can be lost, can be destroyed, hacked. A lot of things can happen. It doesn't happen every day, but it does happen. We, as individuals, don't know much about it because we're sitting on the other side of the fence as a consumer. Banks grapple with this problem. Financial institutions grapple with this on a daily basis. Now, what happens now when you put it on the blockchain? Before that, you know that this is one of the major reasons why we have the Vijay Mallya's, the Mehul Choksis, and the Nirav Modis fleeing the country with thousands and thousands and thousands, not thousands, several thousand crore rupees. Why did that happen? Because there was someone somewhere which could make these, changes in the entries, deleting some records, or just losing some files. A lot of these could have happened. Now, when blockchain comes in, friends, that's what happens. It becomes distributed. And that's why it's also known as, at times, called the distributed ledger technology, DLT. Another word which will be coming up with regularly. So now your single ledger has become shared, distributed, permanent, and immutable. Now, don't you think your data is safe? Or, you'll find your data one day the traditional way being leaked to all people who are selling you phones, they're sending you SIM cards, they're sending you credit cards, loans, everything. Your data, my friends, right now as we speak, your Aadhaar card is with more than 500,000 Indians across the world. 500 minimum. It's with everybody. Your Aadhaar card, your PAN card, even mine. Can't help it. That's the way the system is right now. We're trying to eliminate all these things by bringing, and that's why banks are moving on the blockchain. Let's first also understand the origins of blockchain, and then we'll understand the other sectors which have been impacted by blockchain. This was mostly the financial sector. We'll move out of finance by understanding how did blockchain come about, and then how is it now going across different verticals. So, what happened? In 2008, a lot of us are aware that there was a huge global recession and a huge financial shakeup. A lot of people call it subprime crisis, or lots of names are given to it. Lots of things happened. What really happened? What really happened was stock markets crashed. Within the span of a year, they were down by more than half. Why did that happen? That's important. Stock markets do go up and down, but why did that happen? It happened because there was a lot of financial irregularities. There was a lot of shake-up in the financial institutions. People lost faith in banks and the financial and the entire institute of finance. There were bankruptcies, there were business closures, there were suicides, there was a lot of chaos and mayhem. Not only in the United States, but the repercussions and the reverberations were felt right across the globe, including India. However, somebody in the meantime said, well, he was observing the markets, and of course, let's take out a solution, and he did. And on the October 31st, 2008, the Bitcoin white paper was published. What was important is not Bitcoin, not the white paper, but what the platform in which it was published. And it was attributed to a gentleman called Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, just as a little aside, I'll share with you, there really is not any Satoshi Nakamoto, really. It's a myth. Somebody used a pseudonym, probably because they were a little worried that maybe the government agencies will question them or pick them up for creating a parallel system or a substitute currency like Bitcoin. So it is attributed to Satoshi Nakamoto because the paper was published in that way. So for all practical purposes, we attribute it to Satoshi Nakamoto, although nobody has seen him or nobody knows who he is. But one thing was there, it happened. And what was the core? The core of what was written is right here. It would allow payments to be made from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Very disruptive. Till then, the banking system was sacrosanct. Nobody thought the banking system could be replaced. Nobody thought that the data was not very secure. Bitcoin blockchain changed that in 2008. And today, it's everywhere. Before that, before I going everywhere, I'll show you Bitcoin was when it came up. Then came the second gen with Ethereum, and now the third gen with Hyperledger, IOTA, Neo. There are plenty of them. We've got a lot of them, Cardano coming in also, Solidity coming in as well. New generations, new iterations are going to happen continually because it's a young technology. now, after 12 years, it has proved itself to be the most robust for all data protection and multiple others. Let's go further. Where will it impact? Let's see. Banking, government, retail. Some have been told by Rajiv. Manufacturing, utilities, media, healthcare, logistics. You name them. Supply chain, crowdfunding, charities, voting. I've shared one headline which says the Election Commission is contemplating voting on the blockchain. Real estate. And now look at the last three. The last three are not sectors, but they are technologies. One is the Internet of Things, there's cloud storage, and there's cybersecurity. Now, why are these three here? Because each of them are data-driven and data-dependent. IoT, we all know, churns out terabytes of data every hour. Cloud storage, all your documents, etc., the cloud. A lot of storage happens on the cloud. Is it 100% safe? Maybe. Blockchain has become 100% safe, almost 100% safe. Cybersecurity, fantastic solutions in cybersecurity. And so cybersecurity, to make it even more secure, is now adopting and working along with blockchain as a technology to make their products even better, secure and more dependable. Therefore, these three technologies are benefiting the maximum with blockchain. So blockchain doesn't replace any technologies, friends. It's not intrusive. It's integrated. It integrates well with all technologies. Sharing here a couple of very quick facts on what government has been doing in this space, and then I'll come to the private sector. I start with the government sector because the government takes a little longer to adopt than it does their major projects. There are several projects going on in India on the blockchain, and Telangana and Andhra Pradesh have taken the lead here as far as citizen governance platforms are concerned. What's a citizen governance platform? Well, it's a platform in where you as a citizen interact with the government agencies. They could be birth certificates, it could be your driving licenses, it could be your shop and establishment licenses, it could be so many things, your municipal taxes, your property taxes, anything. Anywhere where you interact with government agencies, that is called. And now all that is going to go on the blockchain. Why is it going on the blockchain? Secure, safe, transparent, trustworthy. That's why. And this will absolutely reduce your need to go to any of the government agencies in the future. It's not the data storage that is important, it's the security of that data that's important. We can secure data and we can have data at these platforms, wonderful platforms, without blockchain as well. But with blockchain, your data becomes secure now. So your data is not going to be visible to anyone but you. And with your little token, what they give you, you will be able to access these services and get results almost instantaneously or at the least amount of time. You do not have to go again and again to get, say, a birth certificate copy. You can get it instantaneously, and you will know that only you are aware of the download. Nobody else can download extra copies, make duplicates, mirrors, nothing. It's very safe. West Bengal has put West Bengal has put complete birth certificate issuance on the blockchain. They've started with 2 districts, and they want to replicate this. Once these pilots are over, they will be replicating across West Bengal. Assam has also put a citizen governance application. Rajasthan is putting up electronic health records and land registration. Like Uttar Pradesh is also putting land title. Now, land is a very big issue because it's a lot of disputes. Our courts are clogged with land dispute documents, and there's no clarity on them. Court cases drag on for years, land disputes drag on for years. As we migrate onto the blockchain over the next few years, there is going to be a better trust factor on the authenticity of each of these documents. Authenticity is the key. That's what blockchain is going to bring in, authenticity over a period of time. Some in the private sector, I shared with you the health, I shared with you the card which is coming out. Insurance, for example, blockchain has a fantastic concept called smart contracts. Smart contracts are contracts between 2 parties. It could be an institute and you, for example. Institute sets the criteria for you passing minimum marks, minimum attendance, etc., and then you have to, look up and work in that space and say, well, I've got this, then I'm promoted to the next class. That's an understanding. Same thing is a smart contract. Smart contract can take care of your validation, your KYCs, your issuance, reissuance of your policy, immediate claims, and only you can access that. So when you have to make a claim, you have your KYCs on the blockchain, they're on the blockchain. You just have to put in your punch in your numbers in your code, and you will have access to your thing, and you can get everything done in minutes, if not seconds. So because of the KYC and the smart records, they match the criteria and solve your problems in minutes. Your claims are faster. You can reissue and sort of get your policies on the spot, on the fly, so to speak. You can do a lot of things. Media, a lot of things happen in media. You can do a lot of people make movies, they write songs, but they don't have a copyright because it's a very, very gray area as far as copywriting is concerned in this industry. With blockchain, we can ensure who is the original owner of a manuscript or a document or a story or a picture or a video. Royalty payments, many, many things. We will keep that for another day, maybe. In the meantime, I'll share with you a lovely case study, which is a very relevant case study in blockchain in the retail space. The retail space, we all know there's a company called Walmart. Right, we all know Walmart. Walmart is now in India as well, so it's a big thing. The big thing is not that Walmart is in India. The big thing is that they use blockchain a lot. Now, I'll tell you how it happened. A couple of years back, there were a lot of complaints coming from Walmart customers that the agricultural produce, that is the vegetables and the fruits, were not so fresh. There were a lot of complaints. Now, a lot of large organizations tend to just ignore these complaints, but Walmart said, no, we will take cognizance of these complaints and let's see what we can do about that. What we can do? They said, let's brainstorm. When they brainstormed, they found that they were not very clear as to when and how fresh they were when they reached the shores of America and when they reached their warehouses and then their shops, their retail outlets. Also, they had no idea how long they have been in transit, how long they have been stored in different countries. So they said, let's put our supply chain right onto the blockchain. And why blockchain? The blockchain creates the series of records right from the time, say, a potato. Right from the time a potato is, when you start harvesting potatoes, from the harvesting time to the packaging time, the time it has been, packed, washed, cleaned, put into the warehouses. From warehouses, loaded onto the warehouse, into the lorries. Lorry takes it to the shipyards, ports. How long has it been in the ports? From the ports, it goes loaded onto a ship. How long did it take? How many days? How many hours? Everything, and then from the ship, it goes from the ship goes from port to port before it reaches the United States, for example. So the entire journey of a potato is mapped onto the blockchain. That's brilliant. And that's you, and a customer now can find and read about that or look into it by just scanning the little barcode next to the potato, the box of potatoes lying there. So he scans that, he knows the entire history. When was it sown to the time, literally, as I say, from farm to fork, where it was the farm and now it's on your table. So that's the story of the farm and fork. That, trust me, is the biggest. So they put coffee, they put vegetables, they put fruits, everything onto the blockchain. You know what happened after that? In just two quarters, globally, they saw a surge of 37.1% in sales of agricultural produce. Translates into millions and billions of dollars for Walmart, because they have hundreds and thousands of outlets. That's big. And that happened because it created a trust factor. Trust is important. Let me come to utilities. I'm sure some of you are from Bombay here, or must have got some fantastic bills 2-3 months back from one of the utility companies. I'm not naming them. I'm sure most of you know. Bills were 24,000, 30,000, 35,000. Yeah, atrocious numbers as far as electricity is concerned. We got bills which we've never seen hitherto before. Of course, that could be attributed to human error, technologies error, or could be multiple reasons, or a mixture of all those. Let me ask you one question to everyone seeing this. Tell me, you all receive your electricity bills, right? Right. What do? You open your app and you start paying them, and that's the end of the story. That's finished. Now let me ask you, how many of you know it's accurate? Nobody. I'll tell you why. Imagine if a system or a technology or a human error just increases 1 unit, just 1 unit for every consumer of that utility company. Millions of subscribers to electricity, millions of them paying for that 1 unit extra. This translates into millions and millions and millions of rupees and dollars every month and month on month, and you have no idea you're paying for it. You have no idea. Therefore, in the Western countries, especially European countries, they are putting utilities on the blockchain. So you do not require human intervention. You do not require people to read your meters. You don't require technology to make mistakes as such. Everything becomes more transparent, easier, and therefore more reliable. So when you get your utility bill, you know for sure that is my consumption. And because you're on the blockchain and using smart contracts, you can pay it immediately without even getting out of a chair and logging into a bank. Do that right away. That's what blockchain is doing, really making inroads everywhere. That said, let's enjoy this statement. Blockchain is the #1 job skill for 2020. So says LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it doesn't say it. You can have a look at it. And the reason is the #1 most in demand job skill. It's not anything else. It's not cloud computing. It's not cybersecurity. It's not AI, but it's blockchain, because it now, with the second and third generation of blockchain, it's cutting across different verticals and industries. And I could go on the whole day and telling you how, but I'm just giving you a very quick overview today. Most important, you will need to know, as students and as faculty, lack of skill talent. There is an absolute lack of skill talent, not just in India, but across the globe, thereby making blockchain the most in-demand technologies. That's why LinkedIn did the survey. Now here we go. Next we go. It prompted Mr. Paul Dupois, who is the MD of Randstad India. Randstad India has a lot of recruitment for tech companies and non-tech companies. They recruit for banks, they recruit for Amazons, the Netflix, the TCS, everywhere. They hire big time. And he says, salaries for ready-to-be-deployed techies with blockchain experience are twice that of a techie without blockchain experience. What are the keywords here? Blockchain is one, right. What is the next? Ready to be deployed. What does ready to be deployed means? Means when you're ready from your college, guys, you don't have to always be out of college to learn technology. You got to be where you're studying, you're doing something great right now, you're creating your career path. That's where you need to put this in right now, during your career paths, not afterwards as such. That's also fine, but why waste that time? You have that time on hands, use it. That's what Paul Dubois said. And we have Mr. Rohit Bhatia, who said, salaries offered to blockchain techies with just 5 years of experience is almost at par with a GM in a bank with 3 decades of experience. Those of us who were born several decades ago, like us, 3 decades ago when we started thinking of our careers, etc., we never had this opportunity, guys. You have it. Seize the moment. Carpe diem. That's your moment today. You in 5 years can be where their parents are now 30 years down the line. They never had the opportunity, but they worked very hard for that. You can also work hard for the next 5 years and come where they are right now. And then sky's the limit. We've read that. There's a little survey done by Naukri.com, Shine.com, and Monster.com, MonsterIndia.com, and they came up with some numbers. Some we've heard, some I'll just share once again. The growth demand for blockchain developers is growing at a mind-boggling rate of 2,000 to 6,000% from last year. That's big, even big considering we have a recession and a pandemic in progress, but the jobs are not going down. Salaries, we've already seen that, are 50 to 100% higher than conventional developer jobs. So if you want to become a developer, you become one, add blockchain as a skill to that, your salary goes up. More important than just a salary, your career prospects go up. That's what you should be really aiming at, not just the job, but a career in any technology you take up. Blockchain offers you that. The blockchain developer salaries in India range between 5 to 30 lakhs per annum. Now that's for the 0 to 2 age is to 2 years experience guys. And the last line says for freshers is about 7 lakh 6,265 rupees is what they calculated. And that's not a bad starting salary. And the most in-demand skills are Hyperledger, Solidity, Ripple, and Ethereum. I've mentioned these to you. So, and these are the skills in India which are really popular: Hyperledger, Ethereum, and now Solidity, Ripple, even Cardano coming in very fast now. So a lot of technologies coming all around blockchain. The more you learn, the better equipped you are to handle things. Who's hiring? They said, well, everybody's hiring. They said we have the traditional, legacy firms hiring. We have the tech firms hiring. Everybody's hiring, no problem. Why are they hiring? Because there are a lot of requirements. As we speak today, even as we speak, and I'm not a recruiter. We're doing a lot of work we do consulting, we do training, and we do a lot of work in creating solutions in blockchain. But we don't recruit. All these companies, here the tech firms, for example, they ask us, sir, do you have any guys who can come in now? We need these professionals. We need these blockchain professionals in Ethereum, or we need project managers. Boys and girls and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Right now in my inbox, it's got more than 3,500 requirements for blockchain professionals. And look at my situation. I don't have 3,500 people to give them. I don't have. I wish I could. I would recommend a lot of them. Those who have recommended, most of them have jobs, but I don't have so many people. That's why it's very essential for progressive institutions to bring in skill-based education like this, so we can take it to the next level. They're all going to get jobs and plenty of jobs. I'll show you how. Training holds the biggest key out here, friends. You've got to be well trained. You're doing a degree perfect, great background, but you need to have skills, and training holds the key for any skill, especially blockchain. We're going to examine three numbers here. Three things what Gartner said. It says the business value of blockchain will go beyond 3 trillion by 2030. 3 trillion is larger than our current GDP right now. That's a GDP, right? This is the world. Just in the comparison, that's where it's planning to go. That's where it's going. It's moving. So, as even Divakaran mentioned in one of his slides, that we are moving from an economy which is going to be a huge $1 trillion economy. Yes, we are moving towards that. That's an economy, and that's on one side. That's second, hired. Hired is, of course, again, there's a lot of recruitment portal. It says full-time job openings are showing a growth rate of 400% over the last year. These are 2019 figures. 2020 figures we'll see as they come. NASSCOM, we all know NASSCOM. It did its survey. It has a report online also. You can read it. There's a shortage of skilled resources with expertise in blockchain. And there are only 45 to 60,000 skilled resources who are industry ready globally. That's a global number. That's big. 45 to 60,000. No, it's not big. It's really small. 45 to 60,000 in the globe? Nothing. Now let's see what's in India. Out of the 2 million software developers in India, only 5,000 possess blockchain skills. That brings about the big skill shortage. Yes, just 5,000 in a country about like ours. Look at your opportunity, my students. Look at your opportunity here. It's staring at you right in your face. There are only 5,000. Could you be the next 500? Could you be the next 50? Think about it. Yes, you can, because the demand, and this number is a number. The last 2 quarters, when we've gone through a pandemic and a COVID-19 scenario, with numbers growing by the day, but the demand for blockchain talent is growing also at 40% per quarter. That's good, healthy demand, very healthy, healthier than any other technologies right now. So let's quickly have a look at the different type of jobs on offer. For those who enjoy tech, they want to become developers and engineers, You have brilliant opportunities. Salaries I've already shared with you, but these are the options. You can become developers, designers, quality engineers, information security analysts. Those who do not want to get too much into the tech side and the programming aspect, they can become blockchain project managers, marketing specialists, technical recruiters, and business development reps. Now, unless you specialize in blockchain, you will never be able to sell those products or understand or market those products. And imagine somebody doing an MBA HR has a great opportunity to become a blockchain technical recruiter, because who will recruit blockchain professionals? Somebody who understands blockchain themselves. Specialty, yeah. There are more jobs. Those who are interested in doing a lot of data science and big data, they can become blockchain data scientists, analysts. There is a huge openings coming up for blockchain attorneys. Now, what's a blockchain attorney? A blockchain attorney is nothing but what you could say is a chartered accountant, basically, who knows the rules and regulations of the financial frameworks. They know where and what is the rules, what not to break, what are the loopholes, etc. Similarly, a blockchain attorney knows the crypto rules, cryptocurrency rules, trading, etc. He knows how blockchain can be implemented and which countries will be impacted and how they need to create the solutions. So blockchain attorneys, big demand. And of course, those who wish can become entrepreneurs. There are large, huge funds available in the markets for people who are actually creating blockchain-based products or platforms. There's a lot of jobs available. In the same survey done by Naukri, etc., they figured out which are the type of companies posting jobs in India. They came up with 37 and 35%. The major share, 72% in 2019, was IT companies and startups, and the other were non-IT. Next year, friends, in 2020-21, when we are giving another lecture like this share is going to increase by at least 10% because other sectors are now adopting blockchain. So while IT companies and startups will keep recruiting, and let's face it, who do IT companies cater to? Who do startups cater to? They cater to large corporates. Ultimately, everyone benefits. And blockchain platforms in India, which are popular, very strong 45% and 41% are in Ethereum and Hyperledger. Closely catching up is Solidity, Ripple, Bitcoin. There are some others. As for knowledge, if you got to do programming, etc., that's the space you need to go to. Ethereum, Hyperledger. Also, they were asked, the cross-section of employers were asked, what are the skills you require? You do require technical skills, and 43% of them named technical skills, but 57% of them said we want people to understand blockchain concepts. You understand concepts, you can create solutions, you can become a good manager, you can become a good programmer, you can become a good engineer, you can do anything. But they have very strong concept. They were looking at strong conceptual thinkers. Well, I started off with a couple of headlines. I'm trying to round up with a couple more. Supreme Court of India recently overturned the ban on trading in virtual currencies. This happened a few months ago. The bill is still not passed, but it's in consideration. We'll see what happens to it, although that has no impact on blockchain, but it has on cryptocurrencies. And just as a matter of little trivia, there are more than 5,000 cryptocurrencies across right now. We don't know what's going to be there in the future, but we'll see. India seems to be in the war. They want to say there's people are saying we should ban trading, but I don't think personally, my personal opinion, I don't think it'll happen. Let's see what happens. It's up for grabs right now. It's up for discussion. In the meantime, Binance and its local subsidiary, that is WazirX, have set up a 50 million fund to invigorate growth in blockchain startups in India. What are they doing? They're funding blockchain startups. One step down, Blockstar, for which I'm an advisor as well, an India advisor. We are setting up a fund for incubating startups and incubators at the university level. So we're bringing in mentorship, we're bringing in funding, we are bringing in projects, etc., live projects, etc., right to the college level, because we believe talent in India resides in colleges. Your college, I think, is based out of Thane. This has come in today's paper also, and it has come before. Thane Municipal Corporation turns to blockchain for property tax assessments. If you just Google it, Today it has said, yesterday or today it has said it has completed this process. That's a very big plus. So Thane is among the first municipal corporations anywhere in India which has made blockchain ready. It's blockchain for all the property tax assessments. Now it's going to do other things also. This was the first pilot. Vodafone and Reliance have started to roll out blockchain-based technology through partnerships. Why are they adopting blockchain? All these pesky calls you get. Sir, loan ले लीजिए, sir, card ले लीजिए, sir, SIM card ले लीजिए, etc., etc., etc. That happens because there is a data leakage of all the data. They have your numbers, they have your email IDs. It keeps going. It just every day it's been slipping out. Reliance and Vodafone have decided that they will put all this information and data on the blockchain and therefore not accessible to anybody else excepting permissioned. Only permissioned access is there. Non-permission is not there. Right now, most people there can access the data or hack into the data. Hey, Kerala, in the meantime, has taken a major lead in leveraging blockchain. They plan to use the blockchain technology to make its financial system. That means banks, financial institutions, credit societies, agri-credit, everything is going to be on the blockchain. Kerala has been a front runner in this, and that's a wonderful thing. Once it creates this model properly and has a proof of concept ready, you will find a lot of other states scammering around for things. We'll also do it. We're waiting for that to happen. So Kerala has taken a very large lead in that space, and very progressive there, and that's how we should have it other states as well. I'm repeating this one line again where Modi called blockchain a frontier technology. Why am I saying this again? I'm saying this again because now is being put into practice. Or the health data. Also, let's come back to a little bit to LinkedIn once again. And we come to India LinkedIn numbers, 50 million Indian profiles on LinkedIn. Wow, quite a lot. And which is the top job amongst them? Again, these are last 1 year's headlines. There are many more, just put some. Who recruits? All these recruit and many more. Now, these ones are the ones where we as organizations, we do a lot of training with them. We work with them to actually upskill their existing talent because they're not getting very good fresh talent. They're not getting. We are helping them upskill, and they keep asking us, when a college is going to become, competent enough to get us good blockchain professionals. I said it's just a matter of a few days or a few weeks or a few months, and you'll find a lot of good talents coming out from there as well. There are a lot of colleges we work with in India, universities, private universities, where blockchain has become a big mantra. And we're setting up centers of excellence in those places now. We started with training, and now we're setting up centers of excellence. These are the ones which we train, and there are many, many, many more we are training in these places. I personally train in most of these places. I've shared a lot about India. Now let's go a little out of India into another country which is doing majorly big and bullish on blockchain. Here we have Scott Morrison. He's the Prime Minister for Australia. And on 15th June 2020, he put a statement out. Don't read everything, read this clear part. By requiring businesses to use paper for storing information instead of electronic delivery or adopting new technologies, blockchain, and he announced, I'm bringing the deregulation task force into my own hands, into my own department as part of the job maker agenda. And what is the job maker agenda for them? To have 25,000 blockchain professionals in the next 2 years in Australia. Very difficult task, but he says that's my agenda. I need to have them. This was backed up just a week or 10 days back when Andrew Bragg. Andrew is a senator in the Australian government, and he said most fintech projects will either be built predominantly on distributed ledger technology or blockchain, or heavily using that within the next 10 years. Well, it's a very big statement. The entire financial structure of Australia is moving on to the blockchain. So again, read between the lines, it means lots of job availability. And finally, we have Karen Andrews. She's the Minister for Industry, and she says blockchain can capitalize on tremendous economic and social opportunity it offers. So blockchain doesn't just have a simplifying process or data protection. It also has tremendous economic and social opportunities, thereby also called frontier technology. And when they were doing this, they took out a project. They've taken out a project called Project 100, which is going to be starting on 1st October 2020. It's a very closed project. When I say closed, they are trying it on a pilot in India for the first 100 people from India, 100 blockchain experts from India. They're offering them a pathway program to Australia as a permanent residence if they are blockchain certified and some experience with them also. That's called Project 100. Now, they have taken out this only for blockchain. They haven't taken it out for other technologies, although there are other technologies in demand. But the major demand right now for them is blockchain. That's what they've taken out. And because of this and all the hard work which my team, including TPCRA, has put in over the last few months, this is the result. We've partnered with the Queensland Government Australia to set up centers of excellence called Epoch Center of Excellences, being developed there with Blockchain Collective, as us and the local Australian companies, and most important, the Queensland government, where we're going to be having a lot of education programs, internship programs, strategic mentoring programs from all across the globe, not local mentors only. We want people from all across to share their experience with us. We have more than 300 blockchain mentors from right across the globe. We'll be working on government partnership projects, and our students will be working in that also. Industry events, blockchain employment, placements, consulting. Incidentally, Project 100 has got 100 jobs ready for them in Australia once they meet the criteria and finish that. And our Center of Excellence is actually working towards that as well. We hope to replicate this soon with a lot of strong universities and progressive universities and colleges in India. We're doing great with a lot of them already under our belt, and we will work with a few more. So with that, I will thank you for listening to me, having kept your Saturday mornings available. I hope what I've managed to do is make you understand how blockchain is going to be important in your lives, how a skill, blockchain or otherwise, can actually impact everything from the beginning to the end. It's impacting governments, retail, several sectors. It's creating jobs and careers for students. And more important, it's become a frontier technology where it solves real world problems. Most COVID vaccine trials now are being done on the blockchain. Not the ones Russia did, but yeah, others are in Europe especially. We're all on the blockchain. So guys, with that, thank you so much for listening to me. If you have some questions, happy to share.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Raj Kapoor.
Thank you.
Yes. I would request Mr. Hasib Sheikh. He has consolidated the questions which have been asked by the participants.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are some questions from the participants. Mr. Mandar Wadkar is asking that India is planning to enforce a law that will ban cryptocurrency trading.
Yes.
So, but not blockchain technology. So how will it affect?
But let's put it this way: Are we trading in cryptocurrency now in India? No. Are we using blockchain in India? Yes. Cryptocurrency ban may have an impact on traders, on other things. They don't have any impact on blockchain. Second thing, it's not yet banned. It is up for talks. Now, one other thing with why I am saying it will not be banned. See, those who oppose technology and new ideas always think of banning things. But when they realize the value of it, they may not, or they will do it with certain standards and guidelines. You need to have guidelines. You don't have guidelines right now. Till you have guidelines, even I would say don't have crypto trading. Now, Facebook recently invested in Reliance Jio. Why did they do that? They did it because they know over a period of time they want to bring in their own cryptocurrency called Libra. And Libra is a cryptocurrency which belongs to Facebook, and they want all these transactions on Facebook, ads, etc., are going to go on this. When they have invested such a lot of money, they will be a huge influencing power, so to speak, along with the corporates, are not to ban. That's my opinion. It's not what you don't take it. But bottom line is, right now there has been a call for a ban, but it has not been banned, and there has been there has only been a note which says it should be banned, a small report. It has not yet been taken up in the parliament. Recently, it was to be taken in the parliament, but they have removed the bill for discussion right now because they need more time to think about it. Which is fine. It's a new technology. So, as an impact on blockchain, it has zero impact on blockchain. As a trading impact, you don't trade there. If you know trading in Bitcoin, you can trade in many other countries in the world. So only in India you can't do it right now. No problem. No impact on the blockchain growth.
Okay, sir. Next question is uh, from Karthik sir. He is asking that what is the skill required to be a blockchain developer?
Yeah. Apart from having some good programming skills, especially in Agile and Python, you have to understand the concepts very clear. So as far as the programming language is concerned, Python and Agile is what you need to be. Python, of course, is a must. Even if you don't have Agile, Python is good to know. That's one of the if you want to become a developer, that is a must.
Okay. So next question is that how difficult is it to have a career transition in blockchain after 10 plus experience in different domain, and the domain is automotive domain?
No problem. Uh, let's put it this way. You have a 10 years experience in a particular domain. And as we have said, I've not covered all the domains in my presentation, but almost every domain. And here in the automotive, it's fantastic. There's a huge impact of blockchain in that because that comes under the manufacturing sector. And that has a massive impact. Warranties, spare parts, authenticities, everything will be on the blockchain very soon. Toyota is going to be using blockchain very soon, and so are many others going to follow. Once one company starts, everybody follows. It's already being used by Boeing outside. It's going to be used in India as well. So you do not have to see. The blockchain is a young technology. It's just 12 years old. We know that it started in 2008. So if you've got 10 years experience in a particular, if the career transition is fantastic, you will have a wealth of experience in your particular sector. Couple that with strong blockchain skills, and you will get fantastic jobs. Let me tell you that. There is a huge demand for sector-specific skills as well, blockchain skills. Yeah.
Yeah. So next question is that how cybersecurity is related to blockchain, and how implementation of blockchain would affect cybersecurity domain.
It's a very large question, but I'll answer it in one line. Cybersecurity, the idea of cybersecurity is to protect, and the idea of blockchain is to make it even safer and less vulnerable, so to speak. Cybersecurity has not been able to answer all data security concerns. Blockchain works closely with cybersecurity, integrates beautifully to create a more powerful and a more workable solution.
That's it, sir. That's all the questions from the participant.
Right, not a problem.
Thank you so much,
guys.
sir. Yeah, over to you, sir. Ma'am.
I would like to thank Mr. Raj Kapoor for sharing his experiences and enriching us with some great knowledge. I would also like to thank Mr. Dipesh Divakaran and Mr. Rajiv Pardolai for devoting their valuable time. A special thanks to all the dignitaries present and participants who joined us across India. This event would not have been successful without your participation. A special thanks to the organizing committee, the HOD of Computers, Mr. Mandar Ganjapurkar, Mr. Omkar Nirgude, Mrs. Kirti Karotmol, Mrs. Pragati Chandarkere, and Mr. Hasib Sheikh. Thank you, everyone. Please use social distancing and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Omkar, sir, please share the feedback link.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have shared, sir. I have shared on your WhatsApp. You can see that link, Google Form link, and that message. Okay,
Feedback
I'll send
link.
it again. Yeah, 1 second. Yes, sir, I have shared again on your WhatsApp.
Hasib sir, please share it on the WhatsApp group also.
Yes, yes, yes.